I'll start. Good morning, Max. Max? Milk. What? If I don't have a glass of milk before I go on stage, I just can't function, sweetie. Stage? Oh, don't worry, there won't be a stage. All you have to do is sit down. I guess. Nick, Max is really nervous. That's understandable. Hey, my sweeties! What? You don't think I should fly, do you? Huh? You know, you've got to make a good first impression. When I enter the room, maybe I should fly in and warm up the crowd a little. No. We can't be having you flying around the courtroom. It just wouldn't be right. Imagine if you hit someone. Don't worry, Max. Just do what Nick says and everything will be okay. Oh, sweetie. What is it this time, Max? Why don't you try flying into the courtroom? I can see it now, the dashing young lawyer flying fabulously in from above. One glimpse of that, and everyone in the room will be on your side. Max, really, nobody needs to fly today. Nick, what's with that look in your eyes? I like the sound of that. Dashing young lawyer flying fabulously. 10 minutes later, he just, like, jumps into the courtroom. He's like, I can fly! I am a phoenix! I don't know. And now the case of one... What? Your Honor, get on with it! Oh, sorry, I just realised that the defendant's name is Willow Jones. I don't know why that ran automatically, but it did. So, well, isn't the defendant also known as Maximilian Galactica? Yes, Your Honor, he does often go by that name. You know, my grandchild is a huge fan of his. I think everyone here wouldn't mind if we called the defendant Maximilian Galactica. It sounds more friendly. I wonder if that is to our advantage. I wonder why it's sped for the thing then. It was confusing. Miss Von Karma, your opening statement, if you please. Don't tell me it's going to do it again. It's going to be very confusing if it does. I hope you didn't bother thinking you'd win this one, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Win this one? I hope you didn't bother thinking you'd win this one, Mr. Phoenix Wright. It's a lot better. Huh? That spirit channeling trial was a sham. I refuse to acknowledge its legitimacy. I can't say words. It did not count. Do you hear me? She must still be upset about what happened last time. You have no chance. Zero. Zilch. Nada. I'm not losing this case. Why, you ask? Because it is not in the nature of a Von Karma to lose at anything. I guess being born with the name Von Karma is a free pass to be arrogant and annoying. Watch and learn, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'll show you the textbook procedure for proving how absolutely guilty you are. Me? Guilty? What are you talking about? It will be my ultimate revenge. Her dad is gone, you know. The prosecution is finished. Let's hurry and wrap up this waste of time. Wrap up this waste of time. This is... You may call your first witness, Miss Von Karma. Detective Dick Gumshoe, get up there, now! Sorry to keep you from work, as I'm sure you need every penny you can earn, Detective. Don't mention it. It's no trouble at all. I've been looking forward to this. Very well. I would like you to begin by shedding light on the events in question. Question? At your service, sir. All right, Detective, you may proceed with your testimony. the event in question.
The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 p.m., making it extremely cold out. All of the circus performers gathered in the big top to practice their routines. The practice session broke up around 10 p.m. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 p.m. The victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail. The cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. I see, he was beaten to death. Here is the autopsy report for the victim. The court accepts this into evidence. A blunt object. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm just gonna press. It's worth it. Let me ask you about the snow.
It was nearly a blizzard up until the time of the crime.
Did it pile up?
It wasn't such a big deal. Maybe about 1.5 inches was on the ground. The snow froze in place and stayed on the ground until the next day.
The snow. Let me see, there's gotta be more to this. Huh? What's the matter, Nick? I need to take a look at the court record.
Mr. Gumshoe, what were the members of the circus doing on the night of the crime?
When you say all of the circus performers, who do you mean?
Everyone but the dancers and staff were there.
You click that window for some reason.
Regina the animal trainer, Mo the clown, Ben the ventriloquist, and of course the defendant Maximilian Galactica and his victim, the ringmaster. Oh, I almost forgot. Regent the tiger was there as well.
Out of curiosity, what about the circus monkey?
When I was investigating yesterday, he happened to snatch my wristwatch. Detective, you are welcome to file a police report after these proceedings.
After the practice was over, where did everyone head off to?
Regina was playing with Regent while Mo went back to his room tired from work. Ben the ventriloquist went to the front gate absorbed in his own world. The ringmaster and Max went off to the ringmaster's room to talk privately. Talk privately, huh? That's awfully suspicious. You wouldn't happen to know what they were talking about, would you? It seems they were negotiating Max's salary.
Actually, Max was asking for Regina's hand in marriage. I'd like you to be a bit more specific about the events at 10:15.
Okay, not a problem, pal. We've got a witness that told us how the whole thing went down. Ow!
This is totally meaningless. Time to move on.
Alright, we'll just have to revisit that testimony later. Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling us how the victim met his end?
A wooden box?
That's right. The victim must have been carrying the wooden box when he was killed. Carrying the box, huh? It was a rather strange wooden box, Your Honor. What do you mean? Well, it was much heavier than it looked. Not to mention it was locked. Locked, you say?
This may be my only chance, so I might as well ask some questions. Do you mind telling us what was inside that box?
Well, when we found the box, it was locked tighter than Fort Knox. So we took it back to the station and cracked it open. All that was inside was this little bottle. Bottle? What is that, Detective? Exactly what it looks like, Your Honor. It's a condiment bottle.
What's inside the bottle?
It's filled with pepper. Pepper?
Why in the world was it locked in that big box? There was only one little bottle in that huge box. I wonder if that has some sort of special meaning. According to the autopsy report, the murder weapon was a blunt object, correct?
You've done your homework, pal.
And you haven't found this murder weapon, have you? The police are searching for it as we speak.
My theory is that it's something the perpetrator ran off with.
You would think so, especially since you didn't find it from the scene.
No, I bet he made it disappear with magic. Well, I think we have a good feel for the details of the event now.
I guess that's all we're gonna get out of Gumshoe in this case. You mean all we're gonna get out of him is that little bottle of pepper? Now that we have wrapped up with the detective, I'd like to call my next witness.
I'm not even off the stand yet.
Obviously, but that's due to you being slow and unable to take a hint.
I don't know, but wrapped up is such a mean sound to it. I'm a sensitive guy.
I know you are, baby.
Thank you very much, Detective Gumshoe. You may sit down. Miss Von Karma, call your next witness.
I would like to call Mr. Benjamin Woodman to the stand. She must be talking about Ben the ventriloquist. I wonder if Trillo will show up on the stand as well. Yep. Stop hitting him. Please state your name and occupation for the record. My full name is Trilloquist. I'm employed as an opera tenor.
Excuse me? The witness called to the stand was one Mr. Benjamin Woodman, ventriloquist.
That rope must be cutting off your circulation. I said I was a singer. Maybe you don't believe me. Fine. I'll grace you with a song. Me. The world of the law, exciting and daring, guilt or innocence. Decided by a judge dressed up like a woman. Well, what do you think? It had a good rhythm. It's just the lyrics, they leave something to be desired, so to speak. It didn't have a good rhythm, I had to make that off the top of my head. I didn't have a tune. Trillo, you know better than to insult a judge. Shut up, just look at your nose. You'd think you'd have the sense to fix it. It's so ugly I want to punch you in the face or the off chance swelling would help. You know that your nose is the reason you'll never be an A-list star. Celebrities must really enjoy seeing everything that flashes into their minds.
What's going on here? Order! I demand to know who the witness is.
Don't worry about me, sir. I'll let Trillo handle this.
I'm not worried about you one bit. I'm worried about getting testimony in my court.
Oh! You won't get anywhere trying to figure out this witness. Now let's proceed. Okay. Once practice was over, I left the tent with the stooge. I mean the clown. Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went over to the plaza. That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? Then the police showed up and took Magic Boy away. You saw Maximilian Galactica heading towards the scene. You're sure of that? What was that? Without a doubt, he had on his silk hat, cloak, and the dumb white roses on his chest. How could you mistake someone with that crazy getup and his nose stuck up so high?
That's enough. I think we all get the picture. Just one thing. You said you ditched the clown.
That's right, dress boy.
Well, since you went with him, could that not mean the clown committed the crime?
He's got a point. What a shame. It was a nice theory, but the clown can't be the criminal.
Why is that?
Here's absolute proof.
A silk hat?
This was found at the scene of the crime. It belongs to the defendant.
Ah.
Without question, he was wearing his signature hat during practice. If the clown was the murderer, there would be no reason for this hat to be at the scene.
Well done, Miss Von Karma. Your prosecutorial skills are unrivaled. Well done.
I thank you for stating the obvious, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What do you have to say? Okay. I guess she's the boss again today. The clown? You're talking about Mo? Of course I'm talking about that old fart. He's so pathetic I can't stand him. Just a little bit of exercise and his makeup is running all over the place. Once practice was over, he was 9/10 of the way to keeling over for good. Poor guy. We didn't have any choice, so Ben took him back to his room. When it comes to being a first-piece loser, that guy's ahead of the pack.
Then what happened?
What did you do then? I went over to the plaza to do some thinking. It was awfully cold out that night, especially with all the snow around. Wouldn't thinking in your nice warm lodging house have been a better idea? Objection! Mr. Phoenix Wright, I think you should leave the thinking to the witness. But I'm a good funker. At least my teachers always said I was. I'm not even gonna, like, change that spelling mistake, because that is, like, the best spelling mistake. I'm a good funker. It makes me happy. Are you sure it was really Max Galactica? Of course I'm sure! How could you mistake someone wearing a snobby three-piece getup such as that? Snobby three-piece getup? Get the wax out of your ears, lawyers these days. You're like talking to a brick wall. Max's three-piece getup. Geez, could you be any more dense now? All together now. Silk hat, cloak, white roses. Thank ya. Nick, I think you should put a little more effort into preparing your questions. The entire crowd just screamed. You saw Max and only Max, right, Trillo? That's right, and that makes him the killer. There was only one person headed that way that night.
That makes quite a bit of sense and makes Max one suspicious character.
There's more to the story than meets the eye. Is there something amiss in this? That's a bit strange, don't you think? What's strange? That you only saw Max? Doesn't it seem like you should have seen someone else as well?
What? Where are you going with this, right? Who else do you suppose this witness could have seen? That's the victim.
That's correct. If Trillo was at the entrance to the plaza, he should have seen the ringmaster as well. Ah! Obviously, the ringmaster arrived at the scene of the crime before the witness. Could have seen him. Anyone with sense could have figured that one out. What are you talking about? The ringmaster and Max went together to the ringmaster's room. Is that, according to the defendant, a likely story? If Maximilian Galactica was supposed to be in the ringmaster's room, why was he, just as the witness stated, at the scene of the crime?
I see. It seems that at this stage I have no reason to doubt this witness's testimony. And there are clearly no conclusive contradictions.
He's right. A brilliant judgment, Your Honor. Now let's move along with the testimony. Trillo wouldn't happen to have an ulterior motive for incriminating Max, would he? Well, Max is part of that bitter love triangle with Regina, which is probably why Max conked him on the head. Nick, wasn't Ben the one who got conked over the head? Yeah, I think so. I don't know anymore. gonna question him over this statement again, I think. You saw Max and only Max that night. Jade, you're persistent. You can ask all you want, my answer won't change. The only person I saw that night was Maximilian Galactica. He really needs to improve his manners. You've heard what he has to say. Let him continue with his testimony. Around what time did the police arrive at the scene? I suppose that would have been around... hey, what time was it? I think it was around, I'd say a little bit after 10:30 p.m., I think. Practice ended at 10 p.m., so you hung around the lodging house the entire time? I guess that sounds about right. Wasn't it awfully cold? I can't believe you'd just stand outside in that weather. Well, the truth is... Will you shut up, you big-nosed dope? Why are you telling him anything extra? Why can't you believe that we just stand outside in that weather? Well, maybe you were waiting for someone? What? Who said we were waiting for someone? Objection! Mr. Phoenix Wright, we can all do without your offhanded theories. Objection! But this witness, he's cracking under the pressure already. I'm onto something. Mr. Wright? Who do you suppose the witness was waiting for out in the cold that night? Well, if he was waiting outside in the cold, it was for one person. And one person only. He was waiting for the animal tamer, Regina. Wah! You were waiting outside for Regina to come back to the lodging house. Am I mistaken? Is this true? Well, you can't really ask me that question. Who cares who I was waiting for that night? What's important is what I saw, don't you forget it! Well, the puppet may be a bit stiff, but he's right. Alright. There is obviously a reason why this witness was there that night. He spent all that time waiting for Regina to arrive. Moreover, even if someone else would have walked right in front of him, I doubt he would have paid them a second thought. Ah! That makes perfect sense. What did you just say? The witness saw the defendant at the scene of the crime. However, he did not see the victim on the way to his eventual demise. If you accept that, then you must accept there is a high likelihood that he could have missed someone else other than Max heading to the scene. Ow! There is absolutely no proof that the witness was waiting for the animal tamer. I guess you got me. Alright. I'll spill the beans for real this time. It's true, I was waiting for Regina. Pain! Don't volunteer things! Mr. Quist, tell us the truth this time, and I mean the whole truth. Were you or were you not waiting for Regina at the entrance to the lodging house? I was waiting to propose to her. You were, what? Waiting to propose? What's the matter? You think that humans have a monopoly on marriage? The matter of puppet marriage is not under review in this case. You're the judge. I mean, look at your horrible outfit. More pain. Thanks to your bumbling, my perfect plan is not so perfect anymore. Now we have to waste time getting to the bottom of some silly proposal by a puppet. We fucking do. We freaking do. I gotta stop saying the F word. Don't be so surprised that I was gonna propose to Regina. I even had something to give to her. I kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I still got it in my pocket.
You were going to propose. You... a puppet?
Don't be so obtuse! Just because I'm a puppet doesn't mean I can't love.
I guess you're right. Just because I'm old doesn't mean I couldn't propose to her too.
Exactly. His honor is looking a little less than honorable right now.
Okay, Mr. Wright, please continue with your examination.
Aw, did you hear that? His eyes seemed a little wistful.
Oh?
So you're still thinking of trying to give it to Regina? Of course I am! I spent 3 months' salary on this thing, I'm not gonna give it up that easily. I wonder how much he receives for appearing in the circus. Probably way more than he deserves. How about it, Nick? I think it's time to unwrap this tour's testimony. That's the spirit! Give him hell! Uh-oh, the judge has that day's look again. Maybe you should get out more. We're gonna give him hell! I want to see your face. Hope he gives you hell. Hope he gives you hell. I don't know. Look, I can't. I presented it at the wrong time, but there we go. I must be on the wrong track. Let's just ask about the thing, shall we? Whose pocket was the ring in? Okay, I should have asked something else first, because now we address it's a ring. Mine, of course, what a stupid question. You've gotta be kidding me, you think Ben could pull it off? I'm sorry, really. You don't have to apologize for that. He's the one who should be apologizing. Really? Okay, I have to go back and press that, and then he'll talk about it being a ring. Well, what exactly was it that you planned on giving her? You know exactly what I was gonna give on you, numbskull. The only thing I could find that could match Regina's beauty. Answer his question. What was it? You're gonna die when you hear this. It's an engagement ring!
An engagement ring?
Wow, those two nearly fell out of their chairs. Mr. Phoenix Wright's joke has gone too far. Time for this to end right here. Franziska's whip looks like it's about to lash out at almost anything. One hit from that thing will probably shut someone up for a long time. So guys, pain equals bad or push on anyway. We've gotta do it, we gotta do it. Push on. It may be something of a joke, but this is a historic moment. The first time that the puppet has ever proposed to a human— OW! I advise you to cut this argument short.
I'm going to have to agree with the defense here. Will the witness please revise their testimony? Specifically about the engagement thing, I'd like to stick to facts, not sociology.
You sure do enjoy sweating the details, especially for a man in a black bathrobe. Let me click this now. So, you went to the lodging house to give it to her? That's right! I tried to give it to her during practice so many times that I lost count, but that uppity snob kept getting in the way. Uppity snob? He couldn't possibly be talking about me, Maximilian Galactica. When I get a hold of him, I'm gonna saw his woodblock in half, and not with magic. Well, they always say that love creates rivalries.
So, what about this present?
So, you're still thinking of trying to give it to Regina? Okay. I present the ring here? I might do so. Nope, not here. Watch me wound myself repeatedly. What did I say that pain equals bad? I don't think that pain equals bad at all. That didn't go so well. Hang on, I'm gonna go through this again from the save slot. I need to see this again though. Doesn't everybody? Here again! One hit from that thing will probably shut someone up for a long time. Pain equals bad or keep going. Obviously, we have to push on anyway. And then I'll obviously just I'll just question the statement again. Like a smart person. Who's being whipped. There we go. I plan on giving an engagement ring to Regina. Press that. Let's just press it. An engagement ring? Uh-huh. It's actually a diamond-shaped stone cut from glass. Even more brilliant than the real thing. I think Regina's gonna love it. It's just a ring. What's the matter, Nick? Well, there's gotta be something I can catch him on. Trillo, do you mind if I show you something? What is it? What are you talking about? Uh-oh, looks like they're going to double team me now. Do you recognize this ring? That's mine! Give it back, you thief, you thief! Didn't you just testify about this very object? I believe you said, in the end I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. Why then do I have it right here? Ah! What is going on here? That's... Man, say something! Don't put me on the spot like that, Trillo. I found this in Money's room. Money's room? You mean a room they put money, like a bank vault? How the filthy monkey is gonna get what's coming to him? Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you avoided slandering innocent flats in my court. Well, Your Honor, Money really is a monkey, in every sense of the word. Oh, I see. Well then... Money likes to go after the shiniest things he can find and gather them up. Shiny things? Trillo? When was this ring stolen from you? Well, I suppose it was that time, you know, that night, the night of the crime. What did you just say? Details, I need more details. Well, it was stolen right after Max showed up in the plaza. Right about when you saw the defendant walk past, correct? Well, I guess you might be able to say that. The ring might have, well, it could have been taken around that time. Yeah! Ah! Sound effect. Ben, what's with you? Oh, whatever. It has nothing to do with anything, especially not who committed the murder. It's not for you to decide what has to do with what. Now, Trilla, back to the topic at hand. I haven't admitted a thing. Not I, Mr. Trillo Quist. What did you do when the ring was taken, Trillo? You know exactly what I did. I chased after that ring-snatching monkey bunny. But you weren't able to catch up with him, were you? It's all this slow, loafy fool called Ben's fault. While he was fumbling his way through the snow, the dumb monkey was able to get away. That is indeed a terrible shame.
Incredible shame, but I don't care.
Well, this does prove one very important point. Prove an important point? What point could that possibly be? Ben doesn't exercise enough. No. There is a huge contradiction in the witness's testimony. Contradiction? The witness just testified to the following effect. Up until the police arrived, he didn't move from the entrance to the plaza. However, the witness just stated that he chased after Money the Monkey. When the witness was off chasing Money, there was no one watching the plaza. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Where are you going with this little theory of yours? I'm saying that there is no possible way that this witness saw the plaza the entire time. That's where I'm going with this little theory, which leads me to my next point. It is entirely possible that someone other than the defendant was at the scene.
Interesting, Mr. Wright. Objection.
Well then, tell me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Do you have any proof that something slipped past this vigilant ventriloquist? Well, he obviously didn't see the victim, the ringmaster, arrive on the scene. However, that doesn't change the fact that he saw his defendant arrive. The witness is lying. He is blinded by his rivalry with Max.
Well, the defense's argument does hold water. This witness does have a history of animosity towards the defendant.
What? How dare ya! I wouldn't lie just to get that dorkface in trouble. He's not even worth it. I saw him, no doubt about it. I saw that worthless liar.
Well, just for clarity's sake, let's flesh out exactly what you saw on the night.
I've told you so many times, you'd think you'd know my story's not changing. You've already changed your story, Stick Boy, and I'm sure it will change some more. Where there is one lie, there are usually many more behind it. Exactly, Maya. That's why we have to keep after him. Yeah. I'll give you that I was waiting that night for Regina. But that doesn't change the fact I saw Max in that plaza that night. He showed up after I'd been waiting there for about 5 minutes. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian Galactica at the scene. There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols. So, that means that Money didn't show up until after you saw Max. That's right. Money ran up less than a minute after I saw Max. Then Money snatched the ring and you went chasing after him.
How long was it until you came back to where you were waiting?
Well, let's see. I'd say about... I suppose about 5 minutes, I think. So the victim could have arrived on the scene in that 5-minute stretch.
Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination.
So, you testified that you said good evening to Max at night. You must enjoy asking incredibly obvious questions. You say good morning in the morning, good afternoon during the day, right? And it's obvious that I'd say good night to someone at night. What, Ben? You got something to add? Let me guess, that's not it, Trillo. You say good evening at night. I'm sorry, Trillo.
Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you kept your ventriloquist act outside of the courtroom.
Impossible! A performer lives and breathes his performances. You should know better. There's gotta be something wrong with this little bit of testimony. Ben isn't funny. He's just being beaten. Isn't that a bit strange to you? What do you mean? Well, if you hate Max so much, why would you bother being nice to him? It strikes me as being somewhat strange. Why would it strike you as strange? Exactly. How is it strange to be cordial to one of your co-workers? Co-workers? Cordial to one of your co-workers? Well, if it was just simply being cordial to a co-worker, I would understand. Ow! That hurt! Maybe you should think of having some proof before your lips start flapping next time. Proof is everything in this world. You should have learned that back in grade school. There's no reason that Trillo would ever say something nice to Max, but how do we go about proving that with the evidence? Bluffing is everything in this world, but I'm sure you already learned that one. I guess I can give it a shot.
The witness will resume his testimony.
Trillo, is it not true that you had a fight with Max on the day of the murder? A fight? A fight over Regina, to be exact. It wasn't that big of a deal, it was just an argument. A disagreement at most. A disagreement usually doesn't end with someone getting clonked over the head. Ah! That morning, Ben got clobbered over the head by Max, didn't he?
What? Is that an admission of assault and battery?
Ouch! Before we handle that, we should wrap up the defendant's murder charge first. The truth is that on the day of the crime, the witness and the defendant had a huge fight. There is absolutely no way they would have suddenly become cordial that evening. Moreover, just consider the personality of the witness on stand. There is no way a puppet this lewd would just up and say good evening to his rival. Wah! Are you saying this witness is lying? That he is trying to frame the defendant by claiming to have seen her at the crime scene?
I didn't tell a single lie, honestly, I just... That's enough from you, Mr. Quist. Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor?
Let us clarify this testimony for the court. Could you explain your fear about who the witness actually saw that night?
It is my belief that the witness did indeed see someone that night. It was just someone else. That's who we said good evening to. What kind of theory is that? The correct one. Furthermore, I don't believe the person the witness saw was Max at all. What? If he had truly met Max that night, there would have been no greeting at all. Which means there is only one proper answer. The person the witness saw that night was not Maximilian Galactica. That is why Trillo made the effort to greet whoever it was that he saw that evening. Or good evening, as he put it. What in the world? You!
Would the defense kindly explain who it was Trillo saw that evening, then?
Considering the ill-temper of this witness, there is only one person he would greet.
It must be Regina. It's Regina, right? She's so cute!
No, Your Honor, it is not Regina. If it was Regina, Trillo would have given her the engagement ring as a present.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you've got a point there.
It was Russell Berry, the victim himself, was it not? You are correct. It was indeed Russell Berry. The person you saw that evening was the victim, the ringmaster, Russell Berry. That's why you greeted him, Trillo. Isn't that correct? Well, answer the question, Mr. Quist. Wah!
Order, order! How do you respond to this?
Well, wait a second. Well, at first I thought it was the old man. But once I got a better look at him, it was obviously Maximilian Galactica.
I think it is high time that we clear the air about this question. Mr. Quist obviously witnessed a single person in the area at the plaza that evening. The problem is identifying exactly who that person was. Was it Maximilian Galactica? Or was it the ringmaster, one Russell Berry?
The prosecution agrees that it was the defendant that the witness saw that night. The witness has clearly stated that he saw the defendant's three symbols.
Three symbols?
Alright, this is getting old. Come on, man, you gotta remember them by now. Here we go again, everyone, all together now. Ow! Yes, yes, we know. The silk hat, cloak, and white roses.
A silk hat and cloak. Anyone could wear them. They'd even look good at me.
What was that?
Well, the witness has endlessly repeated that he saw Max's three symbols. However, how do we really know it was Maximilian Galactica? It could have been someone else dressed up as him. Possibly even Russell Berry.
What?
Miss Von Karma, do you have clear evidence that the person the witness saw was the defendant?
Well,
If that's the case, then it is impossible for me to make a judgment at this point. Yes, I think we finally won a point in this one.
That is very unfortunate.
Huh?
You're just a little too excited for your own good, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What do you mean by that?
You merely established one thing from this witness. You established that this witness saw one person in the plaza that night. I applaud you on your effort, but who that person was can only be answered by the next witness.
She wasn't actually pausing that market.
Huh? Your Honor, the prosecution will provide beyond the shadow of a doubt an answer to that question, and evidence that clearly establishes one thing, that there is no one other than Maximilian Galactica responsible for this crime.
That line went out very well. Very well. The court will take a 10-minute recess. During that time, I request the prosecution prepare their next witness. Court is now in recess. Sweetie, you have to believe me, I didn't go anywhere near that crime scene.
So then, where were you when the murder took place?
We talked about it yesterday, remember? I was in the ringmaster's room.
And while you were there, it was the ringmaster who left the room, right?
Exactly, he told me to wait in the room because he would be right back.
That's when the ringmaster headed to the scene of the crime, right?
That's what it seems like.
But the ringmaster must have been wearing Max's costume, right?
Oh, sweetie, I just remembered. I went straight to the ringmaster's room still dressed in my stage clothes. But when I got there, I went ahead and took the costume off.
Which means?
It means that the ringmaster could have taken his costume and went out looking like Max. Fabulous! That's a fabulous possibility.
Oh, don't Nick.
However, sweetie, why would the ringmaster want to dress up like me? Isn't that a bit strange? If you think about it, all they found at the crime scene was my silk hat. What about my cloak? Where did that go? Double,
Wow, Max, I never thought of that. You should be a detective or something.
Well, I was never quite sure what to be when I grew up. Magician or president? You have no idea how hard it was to make a decision.
That's really cool.
Fabulous. This mystery just keeps getting deeper. Now that everyone is back, let's get started. The court is now back in session. Miss Von Karma, please proceed with the prosecution's case.
Very well. I will now call my next witness. A pitiful clown with the unfortunate distinction of having seen the entire thing. Will Mr. Lawrence Cowles please take the stand?
Why did she just call him a pitiful clown?
The witness will state his name and occupation for the court record. West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playgrounds, Warsman. Name and occupation.
Will the witness please inform the court about why he's speaking autobiographical gibberish?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just not used to being in court. I've never been in the courtroom in my life. I wasn't quite sure what joke is best suited to this sort of occasion.
What in the world are you talking about? You are in the Grand Hall of Justice, not some comedy club. Since it's easy to see your occupation, please state your name for the court.
Oh yeah, maybe this joke is okay. Mom, do I have to wear pants? The sign only says no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Ah! Laughing. He's got a great laugh animation.
Okay, how about this one? Have you met my proctologist, Mr. Seaboard Butt? How was that one?
I can't do the voice right now.
But a couple of clowns, they were up to their hood, started making trouble. Your name? Lawrence Curls, professional funny man, also known as Mo the Clown.
You witnessed the scene at around 10:15 p.m. the day of the murder, correct?
Yes, it was.
Very well, Mr. Curls, will you please testify to what you saw that evening?
A rabbi, a priest, and a Rastafarian walked into this plaza.
Without the humor, please.
Okay.
Aw, poor Mo can't be his normal stoochy self in court.
I know. I'm not the greatest comedian in the world. I haven't been able to make people laugh for 10 years. No matter what I say, all I get in return is a vacant stare and polite applause. Since no one ever laughs at my jokes, I've taken to laughing at them myself. It's a bad habit, but hey, at least I'm trying. Imagine my predicament. I'm a clown who can't make people laugh. I'm almost useless. But I keep trying. I even tried to come up with jokes just for today. But this atmosphere is very nerve-wracking. I decided to try making everyone laugh. Seriously, everyone, what do you think of me? How am I doing?
Aren't we the ones supposed to be asking the questions here? Witness!
Huh?
We will listen to your call for help after the court proceedings are over. First, please state the facts of this case.
Really? You'll really hear me out?
Well, I'll make sure that one of my staff will be your straight man later.
Thank you, I can't wait.
Poor Gumshoe.
Okay, this is really hurting.
Now that that's settled, shall we begin once again with the testimony?
Of course we can. I'll talk for as long as you want. The night of the murder, after practice was over, I went straight back to my room. You have no idea how tired I was that night. I was pooped. I thought I'd go straight to sleep, but before I did, I glanced out the window. That's when I saw two silhouettes. They were a bit far away, though. It was the ringmaster, and he was with Max, who was wearing his cloak. I kept watching them, and all of a sudden, Max clocked the ringmaster over the head.
That's very interesting. If this eyewitness account is to be believed, I have enough to pass judgment right now.
Of course you can. There is no way that this account can be criticized.
However, the witness is a bit, how do you say, off kilter. Almost like he has some sort of atmosphere of guilt surrounding him.
Laughter. That must be because of my insincere smile.
Mr. Wright, please begin the defense's cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Nick, you've got to find some kind of contradiction in the testimony.
I know that. Mr. Wright.
Your Honor?
I'm afraid that if you push this witness too far, it would bring disaster upon the court. First, I sincerely hope you are not going to engage in pointless saber-rattling.
I understand, Your Honor. If you cause this clown to stray from the facts, I'll hold you responsible.
Why am I responsible? I'm not the one with the corny jokes.
I think that means if you get him to suddenly do another, like, bad parody. He does do more bad parodies. I know. You just happened to glance out the window?
You could say that. You could also say I peeked, stared, glimpsed, peeped, eyeballed. Mr. Curls! Oh wait, I guess synonyms aren't allowed either.
What should I do? I wonder if I should press him further on this issue. Exactly why did you look out of your window that night?
Why? Clouds don't need a reason to look outside the windows, do they?
That's not what I meant. I meant that, well, when we spoke yesterday...
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You forgot? Your Honor, the witness looked out of his window upon hearing a loud sound. He did not simply just glance out of his window that night.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to mention that bump, didn't I?
Oh yeah. That's not something you just forget to mention. Yeah, what she said. I believe it would be best if Mo were to revise his testimony.
Very well, Mr. Curls, please revise your testimony.
This should start turning the tables in our favor. What was the sound like?
Well, I guess it kind of sounded like, I guess you could just say, Mr. Curls, may the court please remind you that the humor is unnecessary. Oh, how'd you know I was gonna make a joke? I guess that sounded like, I suppose it sounded like someone getting hit with something very hard. Yep, that's exactly what it sounded like, honestly.
Someone getting hit, huh? What then? You went to look outside the window and you saw... Far away, you say? If you had to say exactly, how far away were they?
Let me think about that for a second. My room is here, and they looked about yay big. I'd say they were about 30 feet from my window.
Just 30 feet? That's not far at all.
It was snowing that night, and it cut down on visibility. I see. Please continue with your testimony regarding the two shadows you saw.
You say you saw the ringmaster get clonked over the head.
Yes, I did. It's the climax of my story.
He really does enjoy that completely random non sequitur. What would you say the victim was struck with?
You mean weapon? I've got no idea. The weapon wasn't found at the murder scene, right?
No. You did say you saw the entire thing, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I suppose I did. Wait, no, I didn't. I didn't see a weapon.
Mo! Did you or did you not see the crime and murder committed that night?
Objection!
I will not permit you to harass my witness in this manner. You'd better have an excellent reason for attacking this poor clown. Because if you don't, you know what is waiting for you. A nice penalty. Jesus freaking Christ. Oh, wasn't that a bit melodramatic? So, what will it be then, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Do you have any clear basis to believe that my witness did not see the crime? I've got a great reason to make my claim. And I suppose you will be telling us all that great reason? Of course I will. The reason is the witness's very own testimony.
What is the meaning of that, Mr. Wright?
Mo said that he heard a sound like a thump of someone getting hit.
He did say that.
However, Mo just stated the following under oath. If Mo is to be believed when he said he looked outside the window upon hearing a sound, there is no way he could have seen Max clonk anyone. In 1972, a crack clown unit was forced to blah blah blah.
Mr. Curls, how do you respond to Mr. Wright's testimony? Mr. Wright's assessment?
They didn't commit. These clowns promptly escaped from a maximum security clown car.
Mr. Curls, are you reciting the C-Team feed to anger this court?
No, I'm just stalling for time while I jog my memory. Great job, Nick! These types of witnesses always seem to have a selective memory. You just have to peel back the layers of the clown makeup to find the truth.
Well, you're back from your jog?
Well, it pretty much happened the way I said. Pretty much? When I looked out my window that night, the ringmaster was already face down in the snow. The prosecution helped me fill in the gaps in my statement. Von Karma! Tampering with witnesses again!
So now you were saying that you did not see the defendant cloak the ringmaster?
Yes. When I looked out my window, the ringmaster had already checked out.
Checked out?
Yep, he was on permanent vacation, as they say. Laughing.
Mr. Curls!
Your Honor.
You did not witness the actual crime, however you still say you saw the criminal, correct?
Yes, exactly! The ringmaster was slumped over and I saw someone's silhouette next to him.
Very well, then please testify to this court you saw. Please testify to the silhouette you saw. I expect the truth. And if I even catch a hint of a joke from you, I will put you in a holding cell until you learn court etiquette. Got it?
Got it. I was a bit far away, but that shadow could have only belonged to Max. There's no doubt in it, especially since I saw his uppity symbols. His silk hat, that black cloak, they were all there. His face was silhouetted, but there was no doubt that it was him. His cloak was fluttering in the wind, so I couldn't really see what he was carrying.
It does seem as if the defendant was at the scene of the crime.
You took your time realizing that, didn't you? Whatever. That should be enough, right?
It is decisive testimony.
Was Max really at the scene of the crime that night? He said he wasn't there. We have to keep believing that.
All right, Mr. Wright, commence your cross-examination.
Huh? You say you saw all of Max's uppity symbols?
I suppose so. The silk hat and the cloak, right?
Mo, everyone knows that Maximilian Galactica has 3 uppity symbols.
3 symbols?
Yeah! Everybody get ready! All together now! Silk hat, cloak, white roses!
What the?
Who cares if he knew that they were free or not? He saw what he saw, and he saw the symbols. He just forgot to mention 1. Isn't that right, Mo?
Do you like pie? I love pie. Numbers of pie. Tasty.
Silence, fool! You are to respond with the whole truth, no fractions.
Order, order!
Mo, you didn't see the roses, did you?
To be honest, there wasn't any roses on the person I saw.
The crime scene was dark. It's obvious it was too dark to see that kind of detail. But the witness said he was able to see the silhouette of the criminal's face. Not to mention the roses are white. There's no way he could have missed them. Then the roses must have fallen off when the defendant assaulted the victim. If that was the case, the police would have found them near the scene of the crime.
Mr. Wright, are these white roses truly material to the facts of this case?
Clearly not. He is just toying with the court. I got her in the ropes now. Whenever there's a nugget of truth, it always seems to peek out at me, then run away. Someone is toying with the court, but it's not me. Your Honor, do you recall Trillo's testimony? Trillo saw them all. Trillo saw all 3 of Max's symbols. However, this witness claims there were no white roses on the person he saw. There is absolutely no doubt that this is a contradiction.
Now what am I supposed to think? One is supposed to disregard the pointless, but this...
Judge, forget the roses. Think about his other testimony. The witness has stated without a doubt that he saw Maximilian Galactica. Nothing else matters. Let's wrap up this case now. Blah blah. Your Honor, it may be trivial, but there should still be doubt lingering in your mind.
Frankly, I have my doubts about this witness. It seems that unlike wine, the witness has not grown more mature with age.
I'm not mature.
I've come to a conclusion. I'm 99% certain that this witness saw the defendant. However, my remaining 1% of doubt is quite reasonable. Which means that, for my peace of mind, I'm going to request a bit more testimony.
What?
If there are no contradictions in his next statement, I am prepared to issue a ruling.
A ruling? Nick, this is your last chance.
There's no doubt in my mind. There were no white roses that night. However, all of the other symbols were there. I'm equally sure of that. Especially the silk hat. There's no way I could forget seeing the decorations on it. He was wearing it the entire time he was on the scene.
Mr. Wright, you've got one last chance at this.
Just one chance.
I will not allow even the slightest hint of badgering against this witness. If you are going to prove to me there is a contradiction with Mr. Curl's statement, you'd better have at least a shred of evidence to back up your accusations.
I've only got a single shot at this. I've got to be careful. I understand, Your Honor. One chance is all I need.
There's no doubt. Blah, blah, blah.
No. If I can't press, I can't. Is that a fedora or a top hat? It says it's a fedora, but it doesn't look like a fedora. It looks like a top hat. This wouldn't happen to be the silk hat you saw that night, would it?
Yep, that's it. That's the hat he was wearing that night.
No question in your mind.
Exactly how would one mistake a thing like that?
I see.
Is there some sort of problem, Mr. Wright?
Miss Von Karma, where exactly was the silk hat found? Must you always ask these questions? It was found at the crime scene. The crime scene? The crime scene! That means... The silk hat fell off at the crime scene. However, the witness clearly testified to the contrary. The witness stated that he was wearing it the entire time he was on the scene.
No, that's not true!
Order, Mr. Curls!
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the meaning of all this? You are old enough to know better than to behave like this in the court.
Blah, blah. Hey, that's just not right. That's so harsh.
What's not right here is your eyesight and your memory, amongst other things.
Why are you being so mean to me? What did I do? Let me guess. You just didn't like my jokes or something, right? You didn't have to go and insult my eyesight or my memory. They're both great. Seriously, why? Just because you're sitting above me doesn't make me belong there. No matter how old I get, I'm always younger than... I'll always be younger than you. Ah, I don't know. Sobbing. I didn't think he was going to cry. I don't know how to cry in that voice. Enough with these childish outbursts, Mr. Curls. Who do you think you are? I saw him. I swear I saw him. It was Max. Even if he didn't have his roses, he was still wearing his dumb silk hat. I'm telling the truth.
He's turned into a bratty little kid. It's pitiful, isn't it?
He left the scene wearing that dumb silk hat. He was there.
He left the scene? What's the matter, Nick? There's something I've been mulling over for a while now.
Mo, what do you want?
You just said that he left the scene. Exactly how did the murderer leave the scene of the crime?
What? He went... What do you mean, how did he leave the scene? You can't ask me that.
Mr. Phoenix Wright is badgering the witness, Your Honor.
This witness's testimony is so full of holes, Miss Von Karma's protest is useless. You've got a point. Let's hear what the witness has to say on this matter. Is that alright with you, little guy? Don't talk to me like I'm a little baby. Besides, what kind of stupid question is how did he leave the crime scene? The answer's obvious. He just turned around and walked away.
That's what I expected you'd say. You're sure that's how it happened?
I'm not sure I know exactly where you're going with this. Lawyers nowadays sure do love to harp on the smallest of things. Do you have any proof to counter his stories to how the criminal left the scene?
Take that!
Look at this picture.
The problem is the footprints in the snow.
Footprints?
In this photo, we can clearly see the footprints of the victim. However, where are the criminal's footprints? They aren't there.
He screamed, "Aye, I'm not ready to do this again."
So, Mo, how exactly did the criminal escape the crime scene?
See, I told you.
Your Honor!
This witness has already proven that his testimony is completely unreliable. I move to strike all of this witness's testimony from the court record. I agree. This clown's testimony is as rickety as the clown car he came to court in. Wait just a second! I've really given up at his voice, I have. You guys can't just ignore everything I've said! Fine, I'll tell you the truth this time. No, I'm not even post-recording his lines again. You wait a second!
I think you've said more than enough for today.
That didn't hurt. I'm sick and tired of listening to you anyway. I'll give you the real deal this time, I swear.
I don't know why, but I get the feeling things are gonna get worse before they get better.
Mr. Lawrence Curls? Yes? The testimony you've provided up until now has been false. It hasn't been false, I haven't lied, it's just what? It's just I was a bit confused on the bit about the criminal leaving the crime scene. Especially since Von Karma and her whip told me not to talk about what I really saw. Order! I will have order! Franziska Von Karma, how could you? You little shit.
Your Honor, if you had heard the truth from this witness, you would have exactly the same opinion as I have.
What opinion is that? It's not funny! That's enough out of you. I'm going to listen to what he has to say. And now then, let's hear the truth about what you saw. Ha! You're not going to believe this, but it's all true, I tell you.
Try not to waste our time with your idiotic drivel.
I am so done with this guy. My voice is not in the condition to do his voice again. At all. Now it's time for our next segment, Mo Knows. Everything that I've said up until now has been the truth.
When I looked out the window, the ringmaster was down and Max was standing above him. He wasn't wearing his white roses, but he was wearing the silk hat. That's when I saw he... This is the truth now, get ready for it. He flew! He jumped up and flew through the air. He flew right off and disappeared into the darkness. That's why there were no footprints! Flying people don't leave footprints! I told you it wasn't funny. Do you believe me now?
Well, that was how would you put this into words?
Maximilian Galactica is a world-class magician, but to leave the scene of the crime by flying, there's no way that actually happened.
You're right.
Why is she right? You believed all the other witnesses. Why wouldn't you believe me? Especially since it's the best part of the story.
To be honest, this is the first time I've heard of a flying criminal. What do you think about this witness's testimony, Mr. Wright?
Say this one. Right now, I can't believe any of this. I'm not even sure if this day hasn't been some kind of Kafkaesque dream. Ow! Now do you think it's still a dream? Huh, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Hang on. I'm gonna get all the answers because I want to. I just want to this time. It's obvious the witness's eyes are playing tricks on him. Don't be such a fool! Who in the world do you think I would mistake that jerk for? Jeez, I didn't say you were lying. Wow, he looks really serious right now. More serious than he's looked all day. Because it appears to not matter which one you pick. I'm just going through all of them, but there we go. What he just said was so strange, I don't think he would have made it up.
Which means that he is telling the truth?
That's what I think. Nick, wait! That means that Max actually used magic. Yikes, you're right. Ow! Only a foolish-looking fool could be fooled by such a foolish fool's foolish dream. Don't be ridiculous. Magic does not exist. There we go. I was just really interested in seeing all of those.
I suppose I will let you all in on my thinking regarding the matter. The criminal disappeared into the sky. I'd love to believe that, but I just can't wrap my head around how that actually could happen.
You imbecile. Imbecile. You imbecile. Imbecile. Blah, blah, blah.
If you disregard a need for proof, Miss Von Karma's case is sound. However, I've got the feeling that this case is in dire need of more investigation. First, I will conclude today's proceedings at this point. It's an undisputed fact the criminal left no footprints at the scene. Tomorrow, I want us to find out the reasoning behind this mystery of mysteries. I believe that's enough for today. Court is now in recess.
Seriously, I just wanted to know what all of those were. Hey, sweeties, what in the world is going on? That's what I want to know. They say the criminal flew off into the air and disappeared. Max, I can't believe you this, but you didn't fly that night, did you? I know you didn't mean to ask me such a fabulously stupid question. I can't fly whenever I please, it's not that easy. But it looks so effortless for you on stage. It's not that simple, I'm not actually flying on stage. I use invisible wires and have them hoist me through the air. Wow, you just told me the secret to your magic. Oh, I broke the first rule! Cardinal rule, the only rule! I'm sorry, Max. I'm sorry you had to break a magician's creed to keep up a magic trick. A magician's creed to keep a magic trick secret. Nick, what do we do now? All we can do now is hope we find the flying criminal in court tomorrow. Great idea! Let's do our best and catch this sucker.